Hello there, and welcome to day 139 of A Film a Day with me, Jordan Woodley. And I thought I'd indulge, I suppose, a bit of fanish comedy fun with the 1999 Star Trek-inspired fandom classic that is Galaxy Quest. It's funny, really. There's a lot of discussion about the nature of comedy and parody and the difficulty that people have, particularly when you're satirizing, a pop culture trend. So, for instance, people love Scream, and I'll talk about Scream in reference to this with greater detail. But how you put Scream as this great analytical study that both parodies the slasher tropes and yet homages them. Whereas on the other hand, you have something like the Scream series, the Scary Movie series, which, frankly, I don't hate it at points. I remember growing up and thinking some of the films had some funny moments, but from a certain analysis point of view, yes, it is. It's not good. It's lowest common denominator. It doesn't know. It's more interested in making fun of pop culture than it is enjoying it or laughing at itself, rather than laughing with the audience at the genre which it's kept within. And that's a really difficult line to walk. You'll constantly see it. Between good comedies and bad, whether they be parody, satire, where something like Naked Gun is beloved and is a perfect cop parody, or Austin Powers is a perfect spy parody, and yet you similarly have ones that really do try to capture they try to, I suppose, either they're too beloved of the property and don't want to make fun of it, or they don't care and therefore there's a certain meanness to it, or vacuousness. So, for instance, recently a film called Thunder Force was released, which starred Melissa McCarthy, and the big complaint about that film, now I won't review it because I haven't seen it, but the big complaint that I've read is that it feels like it's being made by people who don't really get superheroes and want to make a superhero parody film because it's a popular genre to go to. And so you can see it's a difficult balancing act. However, Galaxy Quest is just a perfect encapsulation of parody, social satire, and yet like a love letter, I suppose, to cult sci-fi and the culture that has built around it. I talked quite extensively last week about when I was talking about God Bless America, about how certain films have more relevance now in 2021 than they did even at the time they were being released, and that regardless of whether the film is great or not. So God Bless America isn't a great film, but it has to be appreciated with the fact that its relevance grows, or has grown greater since its release over the last decade. Galaxy Quest is that to like the nth degree, because there's no way in 1999, despite the fact that, yes, of course, there were conventions and there was the huge fandom surrounding Star Trek, and we already had this sort of geek culture environment. But in 1999, there was no way to predict the escalation of that culture. The level to which it has grown and permeated into general mainstream pop culture and almost everyday entertainment. And I think that shows the timelessness of this film. You know, the fact that there are levels to this, really. The fact that obviously it's parodying Star Trek as a show. It's parodying the fan culture of Star Trek and the fact that you have these overly intense fans who love the property so much that the line between reality and fiction is blurred. But then there's also the level to which you have I suppose, the satire about actors who worked on these properties who have very different relationships with it depending on their, I suppose, their public persona. So, for instance, you have Tim Allen, who is your typical egotist, loves the limelight, loves the fandom, to some degree likes the property, but he loves the fact that there's a certain adoration that has surrounded him. You know, obviously referring to him as sort of Mark Shatner? Have I got wrong? Mark Shatner? William Shatner. How strange. Sorry, very tired. William Shatner style of character. Whether that's fair on William Shatner as a person or not, it's not for me to say. I don't know. But obviously you have that leading man egotism that... and I think Tim Allen really just... But, you know, he really demonstrates that so well. You know, you find him both charming and charismatic and yet deeply sad. And, yeah, we have that type of character a lot nowadays. But still, I don't know, he transitions from guy who loves the culture that adores him to slightly being self-hating after some random idiots make fun of him in a bathroom, to completely buying into the culture, into the science fiction world that actually exists, to then actually becoming the hero that he's pretended to be. And I think that, you know, Tim Allen is an actor who easily transitioned from one to the other to the other. Weirdly, though, I did get strange David Hasselhoff vibes that had this been done on a cheaper budget, say for TV, and they didn't get megastars like Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, Alan Rickman, I feel like David Hasselhoff would have been the second choice for this role. Of course, Sigourney Weaver and Alan Rickman both equal in their standing. I mean, Sigourney Weaver, you know, is very much the pointing out the ridiculousness of the show that she's in, you know, with the fact that her job is to talk to the computer, which we can already hear. And there's this great sequence where they're having to go through like a deadly trap-type hallway. And that sequence, you know, that allows Sigourney Weaver to really delve into her sense of humour. And of course, you know, she's known for being able to go from a dramatic role to a comedy role very easily in her career. But, you know, at this later stage, it was becoming less often. You know, she was becoming much more known for either prestigious dramas or science fiction, or whereas she does have a really good comedy core to her. And of course, Alan Rickman, who plays a disillusioned, self-hating, neurotic actor, you know, just does it so well. And I could applaud Alan Rickman every time I see him in almost everything he's in, because he just brings something else to it. And yeah, there's just this, I don't know, there's something about him that's just equally as charismatic. Charisma is the only word I can think of right now to define him. You know, and the entire cast, you know, Sam Rockwell, Danny Shalhoub, you know, they all demonstrate skills in their own way, especially against the alien characters, who are just these brilliant parody versions of aliens who are real within this world. And I think that's And the fact that, it, like I said, the line between fiction and reality so blurred that you couldn't identify real aliens. Again, it's just a wonderful, funny commentary, I suppose. And I think this is a great film. You know, people have already said how much it stands the test of time. I mean, in fact, Fandom Entertainment, the YouTube channel, of course, developed a whole documentary about the popularity of Galaxy Quest, and perhaps at some point I will visit that property, because I do think it might be worth looking at it from that perspective. But yeah, it's such a fun film, and again, it loves the property that it's satirizing. It does show a love for science fiction and clearly for Star Trek, or at least Star Trek tangential material, you know. And again, I was watching I was either watching or reading a analysis a few days ago about the nature of cult films, and the idea that, I remember, it was in the Secrets of Cinema, Mark Commode's BBC4 program, and about how there are certain things that define a cult film. One of which is you cannot make a cult film. You know, a cult film happens. You know, and there's no way to determine whether a film will be cult. And this is definitely the case of that, where, you know, there was no way to know whether this would be popular, mainstream, indie. It hit so many different points, and you could see it going in different ways in the culture of 1999, that the fact that it has become this cult classic that, you know, is beloved, but there is still something quite niche about it. I just genuinely think it's such a great film. Anyway, thank you for joining me. If you like the video, hit the like button, share the video and comment, because they all help me in the algorithm. If you would like to subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell to get notifications of when new videos go up. Do check out my back catalogue, and if you like, follow me on Twitter at Jordan_Woodley, where I'm always tweeting about movies and TV shows, and of course I share these videos once they're uploaded on YouTube. Thank you for joining me. Take care.